This is our fourth edition. I'll just put it like that. So this is the magazine. So if anybody wants the magazine, they're $10. Or you can go to my website, which is babyjmedia.com, and you'll be able to, you can subscribe for $4.99. So that's it for that. The other thing about me is that if you see me, I'm going to be out in the community doing something. I'm always out in the community, and I believe that we have to come together. So that's the purpose of the town hall meeting, so we can all really come together and work together, get to know one another, say hi, shake hands, and there's things I want to do going forward with these town hall meetings to help us to really come together as a community. So we're not just meeting, but we're actually doing something, and we're having fun at the town hall. So tonight, I will never at my town halls, you'll never see like a committee or anybody. You know how they have these people sitting up and they're like the experts for the community. Well, we're all experts because we're all out in the community. So we all going to have something to say. So I'm going to be calling different people to come up to talk about what they're doing in the community. Now, this particular town hall meeting, the purpose of it, again, is for us to get together and to also, if you're interested, I'm not making you, but we want to get everybody's email, phone number, your organization, or whatever it is that you're working on, and we want to put it into a database. So, for example, Cheryl is not, I'm pretty sure she's not here, but she had an event on Sunday, and a lot of people could have really supported her. It was a great event that she did on Sunday. It could have been a lot of people there supporting her, but a lot of people didn't know about it. So what I'm going to be doing as a result of the town halls is actually putting everybody's information into a database. That way, if Keith has something going on, if the good has something going on, they can just say, Lady J, look, I got such and such going on. We send out an email blast so everybody knows exactly what's going on in the community. If you need support, if you need money, whatever it is that you need, you let me know. It goes out into a blast email, and then we're able to support one another. Anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay, we're going to go through this real fast. So I'm going to call up Cheryl. Come on up. I was just talking about you. Come on up. This sister right here, I don't know if everybody knows her. How many of y'all know her? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So we want to bring everybody together so we can get to know. This sister does a lot in the community, and I actually met her in the community. So we met at a town hall meeting, and I brought her up front because I want her to tell you about some of the things that she's doing in the community. And again, as we're talking, I'm going to be able to get your information. If you want, your email, your phone number, your organization, and when you have something going on, we can actually send out this blast email to let everybody know what you're doing and how we can support you. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to let you tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're doing.
How y'all doing?
You got to speak up, too.
I'm from Kansas Spiritual, right? I've been in existence since 2004 for transitional houses. That's when I started out as a program. I had two transitional houses in the Kansas Spiritual Academy Outreach Center. I won the fellows back in 2008 to Holy Society Fellow Grant. It was 10 of us, and I was one of the fellows in 2008. You know, I'm a trench girl. I've been in the trenches because I come from prison. I come from smoking crack, getting high. So I know what it is to be out there, and I can have someone that want to help you when you reach out for help. You know, everybody don't understand us. You know, not nobody will go the extra distance to try to help us like us. So I'm very passionate about what I do. I've been fell short, got up, fell short, got up, dealt with my own mental illness. And something that I really didn't know that I had because I used to live with my clients for 5 years. I went and got the girls from Jones Falls Expressway, I got about detox boards and everywhere, everywhere that somebody needed help, Sherelle was there. And I forgot to get the help that I needed for myself, because I gave them all that I needed, and I did with them. And then I got their kids on the weekend from foster court. All their kids was in foster, in the foster system. So I went to court and got them for the weekend and walked to the house. Some of them mothers, they didn't show up to court. It was just an ongoing battle, but it was something that I loved to do. And God restored my crown back, thank God. And now I have supportive house instead of recovery house. I have supportive housing. I just did a new nonprofit. I just did a new 501c3 for veterans and youth. My father just passed, and he was a veteran, so I want to carry his legacy. And I go out, I feed the homeless, and wow, I go out and feed the homeless. I have community events. I just had 2 events back to back, May 22nd in Stokey. Stokey Project gave away 3 tennis shoes. Then I just had a 4th of July where with 6 flags to the hood. We had the home bounces and everything. And I was sad because the politicians know that we have grassroots programs and don't, know that we have grassroots programs and don't come out to support us like they should. So I do a lot of things without the support of the politicians, without grant support and stuff like that. I do a lot of things, on the kindness of my heart. God wants to increase because I love to do. So now I'm blessed with a lot. I'm blessed with a lot of everything that I had around me with commitment stuff. I said I went and built my program, so I gave it as they would take over the guys if you wanted to. We have events for us. I'm just here to be a service and stay in our community, what I love to do, and be an asset to people that need the help. I network with a lot of resources like tax centers, the St. Clouds, we didn't know each other. I'm 10 years. When I first started, I was shooting business. She's still here.
I was happy to see you.
Yeah, all day. So, I'm just here to help, do what I can do, and it's on with me. I'm just here to build the community back up, and I love helping people. That's my thing. So I'm not gonna stay here too long. I'm really excited just to be here. But I thank the sister for being a good network sister for me, also a friend, mentor, and I see her dedication to come out, and it really amazed me how she do it, without murmuring and complaining. Tell us something, a story, or something. She say, I'm on it, I'm here. I was on the college street giving out food. She said, I'm home my way. By the time she got there, I went all the way back over East Baltimore to get the food out. And then she popped up. She said, I want to interview you. So, I felt real blessed to know that somebody else here besides me. So, with that being said, thank y'all. And I'm here. Y'all.
Thank you, Sherelle. All right, so thank you, Sherelle, and that's what we're gonna be doing at this particular town hall meeting. We're gonna be getting to know the other people that are working in the community, because there's a lot of people out here doing stuff. There's a lot of good stuff going on that I see all the time, because I'm out there every day. But I'm just surprised that there's not a lot of support, and it's only lack of support because we don't know what each other is doing. So we want to start changing that. So Keith, come on now. So serious. I met Keith at a town hall meeting, and I like what he was doing. So I said, come on, I need you to talk to us about what you're doing. Let us know. Come on up. Brother Keith Scott. All right, so now we're gonna get to know Mr. Keith Scott. I think the single Scott knows everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Hi, my name is Keith Scott.
I just opened the door.
Hi, my name is Keith Scott, and I do have an organization called the People's Organization Nonprofit. See, you're gonna hear a lot of different stories. Everybody got passion for one thing or another. See, I'm different. I'm not an activist. I never said I'm an activist. I never played a big activist, but I do support other causes and whatever causes they still need support. But we have one thing in common that we need to address more. It's like we want to do everything we can for the community we live in. And I ran for mayor last year, and I asked one question to Black people: if I want to help your community, if I want to fund your community, who would I give the money to? Who in your community can take the money and do for y'all? Attribute money to education, homeless, job training, all the necessary things that we need to become an active community. We have everything we need, but we don't have. It's like this here. We want everybody to come together for what purpose? What purpose are we coming together for? What is the end result? See, I have an end result. My end result is economic, political control, independence. We all went through our elected officials, and we know our elected officials privilege don't keep. Because of the fact, we can't hold them accountable because we don't have the power to actually, smack their butt. So they look at us like, okay, I see you in 4 years. We need to come together and actually organize ourselves into a economic political force. Which what I do, I suggest, is community organization. What we don't have is neighborhood associations. If we actually start neighborhood associations through Baltimore City, we transfer those neighborhood associations to LLC businesses. Each neighborhood association can be an economic power for the people in their neighborhood. Buy real estate, everybody in that area contribute to that money, and the money that they make, everybody sharing it. This is how we organize. Then we take the neighborhood association and we combine them together into a community organization. That be your entity. That all the stores, the business that you support all these years can actually put money in. Right now, if Walmart want to say, I want to give to the Black community, who's going to get the check? Nobody. Because there's nothing existing to actually say, I represent the Black community. Until that established, we will be, like I said, a city for the activists that's begging for better homes, education, all the necessary things to survive in the city. Until we organize and become one, actually community, a Black community, then we actually demand and pick and choose who we want to sit in the seats that represent us. So, my name is Keith Scott. You can check me on Facebook or the doctor here got my information. If you want to, I was gonna bring some cards, but I was in short notice and I had a question over here. But my name is Keith Scott. My corporate organization is We the People are coming. But we the people is gonna make change. If we don't do it by ourselves, I mean, we got the tools to do everything. We do not need to go to Fox 45 and pick our next mayor or city council or anything else. You don't need that. We need to organize and put our pieces on the board to play this game. Without pieces on the board, we are out of it. Let's put some pieces on the board.
I totally agree. I went to one of his meetings and it was great. I totally agree. And we doing? Like, I keep saying over and over and over, there's nobody coming to save us. So if we sitting here waiting for somebody to come in, save the community, save us, keep our children from being killed, come on.
If anybody want to start a neighborhood association, you can notify me, and I can show you how to actually organize a neighborhood association and turn your organization into an LLC business. And I know people that come through the same process.
Awesome. Okay. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to be going into our database. Exactly what he's talking about, what he wants to do. So we don't have to keep looking outside of our community for help. Let's work within our community. Anybody know how long our dollars stay in the community? Our black dollars? I mean, not long at all. I think I read at the most it stays and circulates 6 hours. In 6 hours it's gone. Because we're constantly putting it out, and we have to learn how to trust each other, trust what we're doing, and keep our money in our community. So what are you doing? For example, you'll be able to go on the database. If you want to know about a neighborhood association, go in there, put a neighborhood association, his name will pop up. So these are the things that we're talking about. When we have our own system that we're able to tap into, and that's why I want to continue with the town hall meetings, so we can go throughout all parts of the city and talk about it and get it out there and get everybody involved. So the next person I'm gonna call is Mr. Bill Good. How many of y'all know Mr. Bill Good? I think everybody should know him. But everybody doesn't. See, that's the person. But I just want to say a few words about him because he doesn't know that he's like my mentor. And I would be driving my son. My son is 25 now, but I would be driving my son to school. There were certain people that I would listen to on WOLB. There was Mr. Bill Good and Coach Butch McAdams. And they had no idea that they were like my mentors. I'm like, yes. The stuff that they were talking about, I'm like, yes. And I'm driving. I was working in the medical field because I worked in the health field for 25 years. So I would be on my way to work, listening to them every single day. So the fact that I'm able to introduce him, have him come up and talk to us, like that's a blessing to me to be able to be on this side of it now and to actually have him here at the town hall meeting that I'm doing. So y'all, let's give Mr. Bill Good a hand. We're gonna tell everybody what he's working on.
First and foremost, let me just say good evening to everybody. Let's give ourselves a round of applause, right? Because we're here. And I want to thank Dr. Lady J for bringing us together, right? I mean, even though she just said recently in terms of she was listening to me, but recently I just met her 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And, thank you. But, I guess what I want to say, I got one thing to say that I disagree with you. You are an active, right? Because an active is, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's active upon what they think they need to get done, right? You know what I'm saying? And any of us that's acting upon what we need to get done, we activists. Because if you ain't doing it, then it means somebody else has to do it, right? And I always say a vision ain't no good unless you got somebody to carry that vision out, right? So lots of times we mad because we think that people should support us. Man, listen, I'm down here 70. I've been out here for 50 years, right? And sometimes, being an activist, you just out there by yourself, right? But you believe in what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You're passionate about it, then you keep on beating the bush because sometimes you plant the seed that somebody else gonna come later on and water that seed that you planted and make it grow, right? So, in terms of is there a disunity between us? Absolutely it is, right? But there's a whole lot of reasons why we disunified. People spend a lot of money to make sure that we are disunified, right? People spend a lot of money to make sure that people are in property. We don't want to be in property, but somebody else make money from other people being in property. That's just the reality of it, right? So even when we talk about the political system, we know how corrupt and misguided the political system is. So we say, look, let's change seats, right? And I always say this to people, right? Then I'm gonna start saying what I'm doing, right? But when we talk about changing seats for political people, listen, we change seats all the time. We never change the system. So it don't make no difference who's sitting in a seat if we can't change the system that's going to benefit us as a people. Now, what you're right about is that we have to be organized because numbers is everything, right? And usually when it comes to poor people, just regular people, money to buy politicians like the Chinese people. You don't see Chinese people on there marching. You know what I'm saying? But they getting what they want because they're putting their money together and collectively giving it to the politicians that want things done for them, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things that we have to do, right? And I'm saying the first thing we have to do, we have to somehow start believing each other, right? I mean, you know, if you see people out there doing something, hey, if you believe in this, bro, then join the brother. We all ain't gonna do the same thing. I already know that. But I think that what we go wrong at is that I've been on this flowers a long time. We agree sometimes, we disagree. But what we shouldn't do, we shouldn't be critical about somebody that's doing something good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you ain't gonna support them, don't support them. But why talk about them and try to bring them down when they're lifting other people up? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm trying, things don't make no sense, right? Now, you know, for the last 8 years, we started an organization called Black Man Unified Black Man. Every month, we have a breakfast. We bring black men all across the city. In fact, we're having a breakfast this coming Saturday downtown at next phase, 112 East Lexington. And it's from 10 to 12, right? The whole purpose was to bring black men together, black boys, because it's like you say, listen, once people know each other, it gives them an opportunity to start working with each other. And I'm going to just give y'all a couple classic examples. How many of y'all heard of We Are Us? Everybody heard of it? Right. It started from Black Man Unified Black Man because they got a chance to come together, meet each other, and got other ideas and said, let's do this, right? How many of y'all know about Kyoto? That's really fascinating. They started bringing black men together, they buying properties and rehabbing black property, right? But again, it happened because we're bringing people together, right? So we have to bring ourselves together, right? You know, we have to start believing in each other. And if we have a vision, we have to try to find out people that believe in our vision or believe in us enough to join us. Because sometimes we just don't have lots of people, right? But we don't have a lot of people, and you give yourself a reason to not do it because you don't have enough people with you, then that means you have to wait for somebody else to do what you believe you had to do, right? Just like, and I'm going to shut down in just a couple minutes, right? I don't talk a lot, sometimes you can. But it's just like, and I always say, listen, I'm just telling you how critical things are, right? The education system. Yes. Why would the education system be worse today than it was 50 years ago? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm saying, you know, that's an indictment upon all of us because we're witnessing how they miseducate the children today, right? And when I went to school, the education system was better than what it is today. That's absolutely ridiculous. Look at our communities, right? You know what I'm saying? Most of us in here, if you be honest with yourself, you can't name 5 people in your neighborhood that you know by name. Now, why is that? Years ago, we would know everybody within a 10-block radius. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying they create all these different things for us that we buy into. You know what I'm saying? We don't even realize what they're doing to us. Right? That's the technology, all that stuff, right? So we don't have no personal contact no more. But it's nothing like the personal contact, right? So I'm going to just shut down with this. Ms. Beverly is here. About 7 months ago, we said, listen, let's start trying to look at grassroots organizations and individuals that's out here, been out here for a long time, but they ain't got no recognition, they ain't got no money. So I say, so if we can start raising money for them organizations, we can start empowering one another. So how many of y'all know about the Man and Family Center? They're 2222 East Jefferson Street. Been around for 20 years, Leon from them. So we said, look, let's raise money. So we took the $3 million, we raised $11,000 for them. Then we said we moved over to David Murphy, the Black National Unity newspaper. We raised $7,000, right? So now, you know, we're working in terms of trying to raise money for the people power stuff. But I'm saying that to say we can empower ourselves, but it's hard, right? You know, just like I was telling you, man, I was telling Miss Bella, I said, listen, trying to raise money for other organizations, And then once you raise money for them, if they don't step up and help you raise money for the next organization, then we fail, because you can't do it all by yourself. Right? So that's why it's so important that we continue to come together. You know what I'm saying? We may not think it's important, but before tonight is over, somebody may meet somebody that form a relationship and you don't know what you're gonna do. Right? So I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, listen. You know, when you say nobody coming to save us but us, all of us know that, don't we? I mean, don't we?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't save ourselves, we can wait for God. Because if God saves us, it's gonna happen. We can't stop that one way or another. But in terms of anybody else saving us, ain't nobody coming for us but us. Right? So we better do everything we can to keep meeting. Because we don't even know, 10 years from now, we have no idea how this system's gonna look. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with the technology and everything that's happening, man, these people rolling on the plan so fast, we're gonna be lost, right? So our best bet is each other. Our best bet is to see how we can unify. And that's my message. Ms. Flowers, listen, for the last 40 years, that's always been my message, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Is that we have to unify. Irregardless of what. You know what I'm saying? We have to believe enough in one another. This young lady, when she got through speaking, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when we unify, look, we strong, right? I keep saying when I close, I am closing with this. I'm serious, right? Because I was downtown with the people power summit, right? Now, I respect the people power summit. They used to be all people conference. But they down there fighting, trying to make sure that people unemployment benefits don't get took, right? But it's still just a handful of us down there. You know what I'm saying? You would think thousands of us would be there because everybody wants their benefits, but everybody don't want to fight to get what they deserve, right? And the governor, nobody else ain't got no business taking away what belongs to you because that money don't belong to the president, the governor. You work for that money, you put that money in, they just hold the money for us, right? So I'm just saying we have to fight for ourselves, yeah. You know, so I'm going to shut down with that, but I mean, thank you for inviting me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, brothers and sisters, let's never give up on one another, right? Because we are the solution to the future if we're going to have a future. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, that's when we said everything I wanted to say. So I'm going to say since I have to say too much. Well, listen, y'all, for real. This is exactly why we come together. Hey, Mr. Nisa, this is why we coming together because, like I keep saying, he echoed it. Ain't nobody coming to save us. I have a son that's 25. The last thing I want to do is be standing over my son's casket. So whatever I have to do for my son, for your child, even for the people that's not here, they don't care to be here. Whatever I have to do to keep my boots on the ground and make sure that our kids are safe and people are eating. It's children, it's families that I have met when I'm out there interviewing. Their children have not been to school all year long. Not because they didn't have a computer, but because they could not afford internet. And so, by the internet, they can't get on the computer. So we have children that have not been to school all year long because of the pandemic. And then we have lost a lot of our young people. And the thing that bothers me the most is how we kind of look at stuff and we like, wow, okay. And then we just go on to the next thing. And I'm like, no, it's not wow. You know, it stops being wow when it becomes your child. You know, then y'all like, we need to do a GoFundMe. And that's the other thing I want to talk about as we go further on. Like, I'm going to have people at these town halls talking about how to teach us how to handle our money. We should not be doing GoFundMes for our children. If we can walk around with nice clothes, nails done, hair done, all that kind of stuff, nice teeth, we need to have some health insurance for our children. Health insurance for us, in case something happens to us. I've been the brokest of broke, but I always make sure I had some type of health insurance because I don't want nobody going to go fund me when it's time for my home going. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we show people the importance of handling your money. We got to talk about education, the importance of education. There's nothing wrong with getting an education. Some people are not, they don't want to go to college. Okay, how about going to technical school? How about getting a trade? We have to show them. We have masterminds hanging on the corners every single day selling drugs. If we go to them and show them, you have a bright, beautiful mind, you can actually build a business. You can build a corporation with that mind. But we have to go, we got to be the people that go into the community. But I see myself and other people out there, and I'm like, okay, we out here, but we could really be out here in record numbers, hitting these streets. Like he said, people fighting for their benefits, but how you sitting at home fighting? You know, how you sitting at home? You want me to be out there fighting for your benefits, but you sitting at home because it's too hot. And even with us sitting here in this room, and the air conditioning not working, I was sitting over there thinking about, you know, we had ancestors before us. They didn't have no air conditioning. You know, they made their little fans or whatever they did, but they were out there, civil rights movement, they're out there marching, so we can sit and do exactly what we're doing. You know, so we can travel, so we can do certain things. So a couple people told me today, they like, I ain't coming, it's too hot. I'm like, really? Like, you're not coming because it's hot. And we had people out there marching. Some of them didn't have shoes when they marched until they had holes in their shoes. Go back and research your history and look at what our people did. You know, so these town halls are going to be about empowering us, talking about education, so you can understand where you came from. You know, a lot of y'all don't even know your history. You don't even understand it. If you understood the greatness that you came from, we wouldn't even be sitting here having this conversation. We would already be out there fighting. And so that's what we want to do. We don't want to have meetings. I was talking to Giovanni today, and I was like, we were talking about, you know, how we were going to be going to town halls. And I said, the thing about me, I don't do no arguing and fussing. So it ain't going to be that kind of town hall meeting. We're going to come together. We're going to talk. We're going to strategize. We're going to plan how we're going to go in and take over our community. And that's where it's going to be. If you want to argue and fuss, you take that somewhere else. But that's not what this is about. This is about us coming together. Come here, Sharon.
I'm thinking back on what you said. I was reading a book about 2 weeks ago. 50 Black American women that changed the world. And all of them was slave, like you said, every slave had stuff from 1938, and really put my attention there. They had the heart for the downtrodden. They have been beaten, molested, but they still felt the need to go back and help somebody. And their faith, their foundation was built on their faith and their belief system that if God put them out of that, then he could bring somebody else out of it. And that's what really put my attention to what you just said. It's so true.
That's what I'm all constantly reflecting on that.
Yeah.
I did my history. Just to tell you a little bit more about me, I researched my family history, and I never understood growing up because it wasn't talked about, and I got slapped in my mouth for asking why a part of my family looked white and the other part was darker than me. And I would get slapped when we would go out together. I'd be asking my mother, why auntie, you know, shit. My mother like, boom, you know, close your mouth. But I ended up researching it 5 years ago, and I found out that my great-great-grandmother was raped 5 times by the slave master, and she had children by him. The children that she had by him, of course, they all came white, and it continued on down the line to ones that are my age. But my mother's mother, she was born by her father, you know, by my great-great-grandmother's husband, and she's dark-skinned. And there's a divide in my family, where the light-skinned ones don't like the dark-skinned ones. Dark-skinned ones don't like and we blood, you know? And it's all because I had to go to Richmond and pull up all of this information and bring it back to my family to help them to understand that we arguing about something that the slave master put in place. That we sitting up here not liking each other. And so when you go back and research your history and really understand where you came from, and understand my great-great-grandmother had to lay beside her husband, pregnant with somebody else's baby. And think about what that black man had to go through. And he couldn't go and fight the slave master because then he might get killed. And so then we understand why our black men are going through certain things that they go through. And it's a lot of stuff that we need to come together and talk about. And that's exactly why I went to school to study all of this. Because it's a lot of stuff that we talk about, our black men of this, our black men of that, but we have to go back and understand the history of how this all started and how it was designed for us as women to disrespect our black men, you know, not treat them as they should be treated, because it was designed that way. And we have to be the ones to change the narrative. So I'm gonna shut up, because I'm a history buff. I'm gonna stop talking. Willie Lynch, there you go. Y'all know the Willie Lynch story? Go back, go read it. There's certain things y'all need to tap into. Get off of YouTube and all this stuff. Go tap into your history and understand. If you don't know where you came from, you never gonna know where you're going. And I know you heard that. I know that's a cliche, but it's true. If you don't understand your history, you're not gonna understand why you act the way that you do. I understand now why I act the way I do, why I have a passion for the people. I didn't grow up in the hood. I grew up in a really nice neighborhood. But there's something in me that has caused me to just gravitate to being out here on these streets. And I had to go back and research it. Now I understand why. Go back and research your history. You had to, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. You, matter of fact, coming up, because you working on something too, right? Yeah. Okay, coming up, you can tell us what you're doing while you're up here. Everybody, this is Steve Copeland.
Actually, I want to do a shit with no kind of touch.
Yeah, you got some
I am a community. I am a community coordinator. I am a community outreach coordinator, community activist, community. I just left Pennsylvania North.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I grew up in the 7th district. I started smoking weed when I was 11. I started drinking at 13. I started snorting at 14. I started shooting dope and cane at 15. I didn't get clean till I was 30, right? I hustled, I did all that. So you know what I do when I come to people? I bring that with me. Because if you want to know how to change somebody or turn the system around, or not even just the system, the people, you got to understand where they at. That's why I go to Pennsylvania Avenue. I grew up with Antonio Hayes' mother and father. I grew up with what's his name? Brandon Scott, mother and father, of Park Heights. I grew up with them. So I come from the street, and my whole goal is to guide our people, the ones that wants to be led. The ones. This morning I had a meeting, right? And I'm trying to watch names because my whole goal is to do stuff behind the scenes, right? We at Panera Bread. I got a guy that's been working in the school system for 35 years. One of the ladies that was there, she does a lot of stuff with the school system too. Then we got this real estate lady, which I brought in because the goal is to go for the property. Bill, the goal is to go for the property. Revitalize in the Black community. God laid that on my spirit years ago. And too many people came in my life and played with it. So he cleaned them all out. And right now I'm looking at what he's doing and it's blowing my freaking mind. Because we putting a team together. And guess what? The goal, if we don't have to, is not to ask the money for the city. When I say I'm a community outreach coordinator, I go and get business partners. I go and get sponsors. I go and get investors. Y'all know I got a box truck, which I get all of this. Yeah. I get all of this. Why you yelling? Because I'm passionate. And be quiet. Be quiet. I'm talking there. Where should you go? Matter of fact, I'm a homeless man. I'm gonna jump on your back. No, seriously. I'm real passionate about what I do. I don't play. I don't play. I told people, right, I do the couch conversation. And I'm trying to watch my language. Right? I was going after them. I'm talking about our politicians. I was going after them. And when I found out they were really against our people, it hurted me because I realized they were just plaguing us in the hole. So I backed up. Next thing I knew, I met another group of people. Love you, Javon.
You too, brother.
Love you, Shannon. I'm out Drew Hill Park.
Oh, you don't know me?
You too. I'm out Drew Hill Park. I'm the only Democrat sitting out there, and all of them Republicans. And I was hearing some stuff, and I fell in love, because I'm like, where y'all been all my life? They like, we've been here, right? So what I did, somebody reached out to me, because they knew I'm a hellraiser over here. And they said, we want you to come and help us over here. Christopher Anderson. I said, guess what? Not being smart, I knew the Republican wasn't going to give us so far. I said, we can give them a work for their freaking money. That's why I said I love this man right now. I call him Dr. Jabari. Shan. Because I met another group of people, and guess what? It's not about their party as far as Republicans. It's not about the Democrats. I met some people that wants to do some major work in Baltimore City, so I had to go like this. Kim Clayson, my son played soccer with her son. I don't tell a lot of people that because I don't want to put her out there like that. Her husband brought the rings for my son and then when they won the MA championship. You know, I met him. I talked with him. My wife deal more with him. I deal more with trying to catch Kim. She just don't keep still. I told her, you need to sit still. But anyway, this morning, just to let y'all know where I'm at with this, I have a whole new team that I'm putting together, right? After we finish talking, Bill, I have a limit that worked with me the first time when we were trying to get these houses. So once we get everybody together the way I'm looking at it, we need to get money. And if we got to take that route, Bill, for the lender, or I don't like to fund the grant thing, but if you got to go that route, we'll do what we got to do. Right now, we got about 10 houses. The lady called me. She's the head of a big Baltimore medical, one of the big centers. And she called me, right? We talked and she said, look, I'm ready to step. I need some houses for my business. And everything she said was true. So actually we've been working together. I pulled in the real estate way. Let's really check out houses the way we want it. Looking for a building with a warehouse as the office. Right? Bill, I got a proposal for a multi-purpose center for inner city from the ages of 13 to 19. In my multi-purpose center, I have a daycare because a lot of our kids, our young ladies, 13, 14, 15, they have babies. They can't come out and embrace their talents. I'm sorry. Music, art, theater, stuff like that. You know, this is what I want to put into this program. So people told me, they said, what you do, don't reinvent the wheel. Just take them into the multi-purpose center, the recreation center. So music here, dancing there, art here, theater there. I said, okay. But I wanted a building. I wanted that building on Utah Street with Jamal Bryant had brought. I even talked to him about that building. He said, make it guy. So the only thing I'm saying, man, and I hear what y'all are doing. You working over there. Keep working over here. Continue working over there. I'm working over here. And you said it. We will never know what each other doing if we don't come together. And that's what I started understanding about the city. Everybody doing their own little thing. Everybody doing their own little thing. The reason why I got the box truck, because you said a lot of nonprofits don't get money. So I got the box truck and I started giving donations to those nonprofits. I get more people badmouth me than understand what I really do. And really, I don't give a fruit. Because if you don't know my heart, you don't know me. That's your stuff. But when it comes to Baltimore City, I ain't no freaking joke. I ain't no joke. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be smart, but I had to humble myself too. I had to humble myself. They prayed for me, Bill. So that ignorant dude that, I love you, man, don't get it wrong. You my hero. I'm trying to tell you that, right? But they prayed for me. And all of a sudden, I started getting humble and I'm like, I don't like this dude. Huh? I don't like this dude. I'm like, I like that ignorant, big mouth, no good. I don't like him. And all of a sudden, I like him. So my goal is to kind of like work behind the scenes, y'all. It's not about being in front of the camera. It's not about running off in my mouth all the time. It's not about running off in my mouth.
That's great. This brother right here, the way we met is he was going off on Facebook or somebody, calling names and all kinds of stuff. And I was getting ready to do a show, and I said, you know what, now, she gotta stop doing that, because our black men gotta do better. So what I did was I interrupted his live, and I went, we had a toe-to-toe conversation on the line, and I told him, brother, you can't do that. Because you making all the other brothers look bad because you sitting here in your feelings and you blasting it on Facebook. Like we don't do that. You know, go to that brother, go to that guy. Y'all, whatever y'all do, however y'all handle stuff, women, we handle our stuff our way. Whatever y'all men do, go handle that. And come back and act like you got some sense. We ended up being on the phone for like 2 hours. Later that night, we ended up talking. So I'm really proud of your progress. I just want to say that. I'm proud of it. I'm going to call Miss Marie, Miss Angela, I'm sorry, I didn't say it. We're going to call Miss Angela, I'm going to tell y'all about her story. Make sure y'all pay attention to this story. Then I'm going to call Mr. Jason Rodriguez up. I'm going to call Mr. Newsom up. Do you have something that you're working on? Sir, with the light tag?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know your name, so I'm going to talk about. What is it?
Ali.
Ali? Okay. I love this head.
Yes, I like it. I was looking at it the whole time.
I couldn't tell the last one. Then we're going to have Yolanda. So I could not tell if that was her or not. We're going to have her come up. We got Miss Shannon right in the back. We're going to have her come up. We had Giovanni come up. I hope y'all remember that order because I don't remember what I just said. But before I do that, it's two special people that I want to call up. Before I call you up, I'm call somebody else with that. Mr. Rudy, come on up. And I know y'all probably don't know who Mr. Rudy is. Come on up right now. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Mr. Rudy, I just met him on Sunday at your browse event. Let me tell y'all about Mr. Rudy. This brother is just coming